If I have a black female surgeon, my first assumption will be this person had to meet lower standards because the school or the certifying board was so anxious to say we have a black female surgeon. And of course, it's unfair to the individual, but then the whole system is unfair. So should you be shocked that it produces unfair results? No. I mean, it's unfair.
It is unfair down on the face of it and in practice and every other possible way.
Yeah.
I'm sure we all heard what that man said. And by the way, that is Tucker, is a media personality. And for the fact that he's trying to objectify not just black people, but black female surgeons, he's trying to make it seem that they are opportune. They just have a luck being in that stage, being called a surgeon. And that is not a very nice thing to say. Now, let's take a look at what people have to say concerning this particular video.
For cancer, especially breast cancer, would not be where we are today if it wasn't for Dr. Jane C. Rice. See, she graduated back in the 1930s or 40s. The board appointed her. Let me go a little bit further. President Lyndon B. Johnson appointed her as the president's commissionary for heart disease and stroke and cancer research because of her qualifications, not the color of her skin. I don't think you understand that degrees weren't just handed out to African American women. Now, I'm for all women, but especially black women, because black women, especially black female surgeons, had to create waves where there were no water. They have been known as trailblazers in medicine today. So let me educate you on a couple of things. Again, you see black female surgeons or black medical professionals or black educated women, please put some respect on their name, because they fought Goliaths that you wouldn't have the strength to stand against. They never had a seat at the table, so they had to build buildings, and they had to create doors so that other black female medical professionals and professionals everywhere could have a seat at the table that they also built. So I hope that this helps with the assumptions that you have. And you know, they say that we shouldn't assume, because when we do, we make a donkey of ourselves. I hope that helped with your assumptions, Tucker. You be blessed now.
Female surgeon, my first assumption will be this person had to meet lower standards.
As a female surgeon, I have many thoughts. The first is, Tucker Carlson, if your first assumption on seeing a black woman is that she did not earn her place, like she only got in to fill a quota, she had lower standards applied to allow her to unfairly get that position, that is the whole problem. If knowing nothing about someone, their CV, their qualifications, their training, the feedback from people who work with them, you only saw race and gender and automatically assumed that person is not qualified, imagine what these people face at every step of the process compared to people, white men, who may seem like they fit the profile better.
I'm Dr. Turner, a black female surgeon in training, which I think makes me a little bit qualified to talk about this. First of all, medical school is not a participation trophy. It is actually quite literally survival of the fittest. Just because you get into med school does not mean you will finish med school. Every student, regardless of your race and your gender, is graded the same. So say, hey, maybe you do have a connection to get yourself into med school. Does that mean you'll finish? Does that mean you'll graduate with honors? Does that mean you'll get the residency you want? No. Our exams, our clinical evaluations, our board certifications are all standardized, meaning that the bar is not being lowered for anybody, especially black women. If you don't pass, you don't move forward, and it's as simple as that. Let's take board exams, for example, the USMLE or the COMLEX. These are national exams where every single test taker is held to the same standard. There is no adjustment. It doesn't matter if you fail by 1 point if you're white. It doesn't matter if you fail by 1 point if you're black. If you don't pass, you don't pass, and you don't move forward. Black women make up less than 2% of all physicians in the US, and an even smaller percentage are surgeons. Not because they aren't qualified, but because of systemic barriers that make it harder for us to enter and advance into medicine. To even get to an even playing field, we always have to outperform. And once we're in, we train under the same rigorous standards as anybody else. To assume and say to millions of people that you assume anytime you see a black female surgeon that the standards were lowered for her is such an incredibly dangerous rhetoric and an ignorant statement. So let's be clear. Every black physician got here despite the system and not because it showed us any favors. And we will continue to do so.
To the individual, but then the whole system is unfair.
What Tucker fails to realize is that at no step of the process through med school, board exams, residency, fellowship, or any of the other certifying steps do they say, oh, you're a black female, we'll treat your performance differently. Becoming a surgeon is one of the most merit-based career paths I could think of. I actually don't think I could come up with a worse example of alleged DEI than a black female surgeon. In reality, I would have guessed the opposite as Tucker. The black female surgeons have to have more fire, more passion, have to grind a little bit harder, because I feel like you have to fight to progress in this career, despite facing this exact type type of bias all the way through. And the surgeon that he was speaking with on this show, Boss Heart, is even worse, of course, and instigated all of this topic. I never hear people talking about whether white male surgeons may have only gotten a spot in their medical training due to nepotism or legacy admissions and therefore be less skilled. Now that I've berated Tucker, this does raise an important point. Some people, when they go to their primary care provider or their OBGYN or any doctor, they may feel more comfortable opening up if their doctor maybe looks a little more like them. Or maybe, for example, some women may feel more comfortable working with female OBGYNs for reasons unrelated to the perceived test scores or competency of male OBGYNs. And you know what? I think that's fine. You want to find a doctor who you feel so comfortable with, you can be 100% open. Now, the key difference from what I've just said versus what Tucker said is Tucker's saying he thinks that black female surgeons may be less skilled because he's worried about special DEI access and different standards. What I'm saying is that some people may feel more comfortable opening up to doctors who look a little more like them. In fact, this is why having a rich diversity of healthcare providers is so valuable. You want to have a mix of providers so everyone can find someone they feel comfortable with. For some people, that can help improve trust, which improves communication, which may help improve health outcomes. And by the way, the Tucker Carlson Network happens to have 1.2 million followers. Coincidentally, so do I, which means I'm going to need you to hit the follow button so that next time I can flex a bit more on Tucker for no reason.
I'm anxious to say we have a black female surgeon, and of course it's unfair to the individual, but then the whole system is unfair. So should you be shocked that it produces unfair results? No. I mean, it's unfair.
This is completely incorrect. In order to become a board-certified surgeon, whether it's a general surgeon or a plastic surgeon like myself, we have to pass written board exams as well as oral exams. They don't give you preferential treatment or allow you to pass exams at a lower score based off of your gender or your skin color. And the truth is, you may have to work actually harder to become a board-certified surgeon if you're a female or especially an African-American female. And this is because in order to be accepted into that program, you have to be ranked high on their list of desirable applicants. And they look at all sorts of factors, including your board scores, how hard you work, and how much personally they may connect with you. And the fact is that the program directors, the surgeons that make these lists of the most desirable candidates to become surgeons are overwhelmingly male and white. So whether you have a good or a bad surgeon is not based off of their gender or their skin color.
Now, it's almost every day we see videos of black people in the medical field coming out to talk about their patients not allowing them to do their job just because of their color. Let me know what you guys think about this. Do you think it's necessary to objectify people just because of their color? What's your take on this? Drop your thoughts in the comment section, and do not forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the YouTube channel for more videos like this.